Hi everybody, my name is James. I'm the Senior Technical Advisor here at Kodlin, and today we're going to do the Kodlin 3-in-1 Mini Fender Strut. It's the Neowise line, and we're going to do them in black on this beautiful 2019 Lowrider S. Job we did 3/8. We have the Torx 45 and the Torx 50 for the Fender struts, and then this was for the turn signal on the inside, of course, soldering tool. This, I like to pull my wires out of the connectors. This tool is invaluable to get the wires out without destroying the connector. Flat screwdriver for the seat, torque wrench. These little things I got from Snap-on, I love them. My eyes aren't that good anymore, so these are helping hands to help me hold the wires while I'm doing the soldering. I love these. And I've got the Klein tools, wire strippers here, diagonals, and then the side cover. This is a, what is this at? 5/32 for the side cover. And that's basically what I do. First thing off, I'm gonna undo the power on the bike. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the maxi fuse so we can disable the power on the bike. Now I'm going to disconnect the left and right connectors for the fender and also the center tail light connector. Some bikes won't have the center tail light connector, they'll just have the two left and right turn signal connectors. Going to pull some clips off, cut some of the zip ties, free up all the wires so the fender can come off without being hung up on the wires. Now I'm going to loosen up the two fender strut bolts on each side. And then we're going to pull the bolts out and lift the fender off. You can't take the strut off the fender at this point because there's an internal bolt that I'm pointing to that has to come off from the inside out, and it's just a lot easier to deal with that one while the fender's off. So here I am pulling the strut off. You see that little hollow area under the strut? That's where the wires are going to lay down. That'll give us clearance for our splices to sit in there. Now we're going to undo the bolt that actually holds the turn signal on. Okay, so on the Harley, we have two different signaling setups on the BCM. We have a 2-late setup where these run as running lamps, they run as brake lamps, they run as turn signals. They'll have typically a 3-wire setup on them. This setup has a third brake light in the middle, so the turn signals are going to run a 2-wire setup. Because we're using the Kodlin 3-in-1 fender lights, we're going to try to set it up so it has running, tail, and a brake light and turn signal lights at the same time. To do that, I'm going to add 2 wires. I'm going to run 2 additional wires off each light and tie into the brake light and the running lamp circuit, and that will provide the 3-in-1 function to the 3-in-1 lights. Now we're going to undo the bolt that actually holds the turn signal on. You got the standoff, and then you got the turn signal itself. Now we're going to mount the Kodlin Neowise light. 2 small screws. Just snug them up, use a little Loctite. And that's how it looks when it's mounted. Very nice, very sleek. Beautiful setup. And here I'm going to match up my wires. Now for this light, there's only 2 wires on the stock turn signal. So what I have done is I have gotten 2 wires from a spare harness and ran those into the stock connector, and I'm going to add those to the circuit. So I have a total of 4 wires. It'll be a black wire, a turn signal wire, a brake wire, and a running lamp wire. And now I'm going to splice all that in. because this bike is a bike with a tail light on it, I'm going to show you a diagram of the way I wired it up. There's nothing you have to do with the BCM in this case. You'll get the signaling for the brake and the running lamp from the stock connectors. The main harness is already wired up for it, and the BCM is already set up to give you the proper separation of signal between turn signal and stop light. Just follow this diagram and you should be doing good with it. Now we're going to set our wires, got them all taped up and heat shrinked. We're going to route them so they don't get pinched. Now we're ready to put it back on the fender. Okay, so after we're done with the one side, we're basically going to repeat the process for the other side. Okay, so now I've got the fender struts back on the fender. I've added my 2 additional wires per side, and now I'm going to go ahead and mount the fender back on the bike and then splice in those additional wires into the brake and running lamp circuit. Make sure all your wires are clear so they don't get pinched or don't get hung up and stuck in a spot where you can't pull them back out. And then slide the fender on, put your 2 bolts in on each side, use a little Loctite, and snug them all up. And then I like to torque everything to proper torque specs before I'm buttoning it up. And here I'm just plugging in the left and right tail light connectors. And in this case, because this bike has a center tail light, I'm plugging that connector in also. I'm going to put in the maxi fuse, put on my side cover. I'm getting ready to put the seat on. Alright, so that wraps up the Kodlin Neowise 3-in-1 rear fender strut lights. I did add 2 additional wires so that I tied that into the brake light and the running lamp circuit, so you actually get full 3-function LEDs on both struts. So it not only does it make it safer at night, you got amber turn signals, you got light red running lights, and you've got the bright red brake lights. And there we are, all buttoned up, to show you how they look.